Welcome to the WTF Show podcast from Bangkok, Thailand, presented by Vimol Kogar. Tune in to get your dose of weekly verbal Red Bull.
Welcome one and all to the WTF Show this week. Before we start, I want to remind everybody on 8th of January 2021 at the Indus Restaurant, we have a live podcast, what we call a video cast, with our special guests, the top performers in Bangkok, Amrita and Saral. So we will start with an interview, followed by a concert, followed by something totally new, which is a sing-along, followed by a dance-along. So if you want tickets, we actually have very limited tickets left. It's at www.ticketmelon.com. And if you search for WTF, you will find us. So I truly hope that all of you will be at the WTF live podcast on the 8th of January 2021. Anyway, I'd like to welcome today Naam Kogar. Naam, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Uncle Vimol.
Okay. I'm now Uncle Vimol, so all of you remember that. Naam, tell me about your school life.
Okay, so I would say this is a bit unorthodox. Normally, when you graduate high school, you normally apply to like 4 to 5 universities. But I was in such a state where I didn't know what I want to study, but I knew that I wanted to learn more about the way of the world, the way that governments work, the way that society works. So I found out that Thammasat University has an international program for political science, and it was the only international program in Thailand at that time. So I applied, I got in, I passed the exam, and that was the only university I actually applied for. So I was so lucky that I got in.
Okay, so you studied political science?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do after you graduated, sir?
After I graduated from my bachelor's, I actually, then again, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for work. And then I discussed with my family. They said that, why don't you get your master's done now? Right? Like, because if you start working, you might not want to do your master's, as some parents' advice will be. And we can talk more about that later. But so I started doing my master's, and then I finished all my coursework, so it was time to get a job. And I applied for quite a few roles. I was moving back between Singapore and Thailand at one point. I couldn't get any jobs in Singapore because they don't want a lad with no experience and who's non-Singaporean. So I came back to Thailand, and my friend invited me to go interview at his company. It's called Bowler Associates. It's a top executive search firm from China who were recently bought by Recruit Holdings. Now, Recruit Holdings is a public company in Japan. It's the biggest HR firm, basically. And so Bowler, so I went for the interview, and I got the job as a researcher, entry-level job, to source for candidates for our clients. And so I started at the bottom rung, and then we rebranded to RGF, and now I'm a proud member of RGF. RGF actually stands for Recruit Global Family. And I started out with the executive search office, and because of COVID and profitability issues, our office actually closed down in August of 2020. So I've actually had to experience firsthand the effects of this pandemic. And luckily for me, the universe works in mysterious ways. One door closed, but another door opened, and I got a chance to move to another office within the Recruit Global Family, which is called RGF HR Agent. We're in Birat at M Quartier, very corporate environment. It's been a very good experience for me to get out of my comfort zone, coming from a very small office to a very big office. And this is my journey so far.
So explain to me what exactly you do in your company.
So what we do is we get a client will come to us saying that they have a vacant position within the business, and we would have to find the right candidate to fill that vacant position. But there's a lot of details within that. So what kind of candidate they want, the exact kind of skills they want. Can the candidate work within a multinational environment? We have to do a very thorough, detailed, deep dive interview with the candidates. And I think this is one reason why, even though AI is going to disrupt this industry, but I think that the human touch is still so important for some areas of the business. So once we find the candidate, we interview them for the job, we share the job details with them. If they're interested, we help them to go on process for the job. And then we help coordinate all the interviews, negotiate the salary package, which is very important for a candidate, right? It's personal. And we make sure that all the concerns are met, location, etc. Do they get insurance, whatever the package comes with. And then we move them along the way and start the job. And hopefully that I've added value to someone's life by giving them a better career option and career growth. And that's what I feel that I bring value to in society right now. Yeah.
So WTF show, Naam, is about young people. Mm-hmm. And somebody your age. Now, you've been fortunate to be employed almost all your life after graduating. What advice would you give somebody who's graduated in the last 2 years and then come into a COVID environment and basically has been maybe rejected by 10, 20 jobs? What's your first bit of advice?
Okay. Yeah, this is actually a very important question. Don't feel down. Maybe you do not have so much work experience in 2 years, but that is a good amount of time that you've had some experience. And what I want you to do, if you're listening, is that I want you to go back and write down all the good things that happened when you were working in those companies. If you receive any praise from anyone, any recommendation, just note it down. Note it down and get your confidence back up. Because being rejected by like 10, 20 companies is no joke, it brings us down. And I feel you, I feel that pain. But we have to stay vigilant. And one advice I want to give to young people today, in high school, who are in high school or in university, in bachelor's degree, I want you guys to start, gaining getting experience, internships, or, have some interest in the work and in like the job market. At least start to gauge like what you might be interested in. Dip your toe into some kind of role that you could be working in. Anything, whether it be like volunteering or family business, or it could be anything. I think that if you start too late, then you're kind of like behind. And I also have a lot of respect for people who are not doing what they love. Like other people on your show, or maybe other people I meet, they kind of say like, they want to do what they love, right? If you love what you do, it's not work. And I completely agree that that's lucky for some people. But for a lot of people in the world who are struggling to make payments, or got a lot of debt, they're leveraged out, we look at it another way. We work so that we can do what we want on Saturday and Sunday. I work Monday to Friday. I might not love what I do, but I have value in what I do because it brings income to me and to my family. And I'm sure that many families out there and people are in the same position. And if you young generation, kids, Gen Z, Gen Y, you're in the same situation, don't worry about it, because the more skills you learn throughout your career, the more knowledge you'll have about what you like and what you don't like. Then you can kind of gauge later, maybe in your mid-20s to 30s, early 30s, that what you do like. And it's natural, it'll come by itself.
What about, we've been talking about finding jobs and working for somebody. What about joining the gig economy, the freelance economy? What do you know about that, or what can you advise us about that?
Yeah, a little bit, because I'm active on LinkedIn, and I see a lot of people who have profiles like that. They're like freelancers. So this kind of it's kind of evidence to me that the gig economy is big. Even when I'm searching on JobsDB, a lot of people are freelance workers. Why? It's because they have skills that they can use to work from home, project based for their clients, whether it be graphic designing or IT, web programming, etc., etc. Consulting. Even consultants work freelance now. After like working in the corporate for 10 years, they do that, and I think it's great because they can provide a good quality service to the clients for cheaper. So why not? I think clients should be more open-minded nowadays and hire some of these, like capable people. Yeah.
So if I were to just graduate and I put myself in websites that give me opportunities to get short-term jobs, some of these short-term jobs simply don't pay the bills.
Yeah.
Whether I'm a rock DJ or I'm a photographer, for example. So what advice would you give somebody who basically is not making ends meet? Obviously, you said that first thing to do is to get themselves up, think positive.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
And what else would you say?
To my next point, get yourself noticed online. So today, the beauty of technology today is that we can market ourselves. We have LinkedIn, we have Indeed.com, we have JobsDB, we have Glassdoor, we have so much technology out there that you can find information about employers and you can put yourself out there. So for example, on LinkedIn, you could be a fresh graduate and maybe doing some gig jobs. Put that in your experience, do some of your own personal branding, put a nice profile picture up, engage with people, network, connect with people you don't know, because you're one connection away from finding a good opportunity. It's as simple as that. That's the technology, that's the power of technology today. So, and you can even post your status like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Maybe someone's connection might see you and they might hit you up. That's the power of technology today.
Okay, we're not allowed to use F-bombs and A-bombs on the show, but what if I had a pain in the ass employer? So you get me a job, and that employer is somebody I really, really can't sync with. How does one handle that sort of employer?
Okay. You mean if you're a candidate working in that company, right?
That's right.
Right, okay. Yeah. In these situations, it would be very good to talk with someone like an HR, human resources, go to them, speak to them, and see, if you can fix this problem. Because every problem starts like any rift, there's a starting point. What is the starting point? And I guess we have to look back, take 2 steps back and talk about it. Maybe you have to talk to your boss, maybe approach your boss and bring it up and see what she says, what they say. And if you really cannot solve this problem and then it's a toxic environment for you, I'm sure that it's either you have to leave, or if you really don't want to leave, then you got to talk to some people within the company that can take some action.
So what you're saying is you need to communicate.
Yeah, you got to communicate. Yeah.
Clearly what your problems are.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so WTF moment. We want to talk about, you're obviously very young, but I want to talk about whether there was a point in your life where you pivoted, you changed direction, you had a WTF moment. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, when I started looking for a job, it was like pretty tough time in my family, financially, and so that was the kind of moment that I realized that, hey, I gotta grow up, because for many people, like, okay, I went to university in Thailand, right, and this is my experience. Going to bachelor's degree in Thailand, for many people, I think is like an extension of high school. It's like, wait, we haven't grown up yet. Like, I'm just being sent to another 4 years of high school, to like relax and learn something. But, it's like a lot of networking, it's time for you to meet people. And then I realized I hadn't grown up yet. So when I realized that, hey, I gotta start feeding myself, this kind of changed my mindset that, okay, I have no experience, but you gotta do what it takes to land the job and then to stay in the job.
Right.
So, and then this is something else I want to tell your audience, is that even if you don't have experience or you don't have the direct experience in the job that you're looking to work in, but if you show up with an attitude, like you show up, in commerce, like, you go there, you're smiling, you're ready, you're eager, you're energetic, you want the job, you show that you can do the job, even though you don't have the knowledge about it. But if you show up, you have the attitude, that goes a long way. Employers want to see character, and that's something about the new generation coming up now. If you have the character and you have the know-how, you can get the job done, because this young generation is really smart. They're very savvy.
I agree with you that I mean, I'm obviously the host here. I have the privilege of being the host of the WTF show, and I see the best brains in the world. I see so much talent. But I don't think this translates very well. Let me give you an example, right? So some of these kids come and they're addicted to their gadgets, right? So you come to me on the table, and most of the time you're on your gadget, you're not making intelligent conversation. Your mind is focused on something else. So you mentioned just now that you believe that we live in a generation of very intelligent, very capable people. But also, we also live in a generation where the gadget has taken over. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. Like, I was raised in a way that, hey, when it's time to eat dinner, there's no mobile phones, you have to respect that face time, and it's valuable. And I see a lot of kids today that are addicted to their phones. We have to find a way to tap into, I don't know how to, their humanity. No. We have to find a way to make them feel that what is outside the device is important. Like, they feel like everything is in the device. They can talk to their friends, they can play the game, they can watch the movie. I think they give too much value to their devices today. But what is the solution, or how do we change that? I'm not sure.
Tell me a little bit about what you do outside of work. What are your hobbies?
Yeah, I like to ride my bicycle. I actually like to ride my bicycle in town.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to go to the park.
Okay, please be careful on that.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people tell me the same thing. But I think that if you don't do what you love, then it's also it's sad. It's a pity. If you don't do what you love. And I want the youngsters today to also challenge what their parents are saying, not in a negative or violent way. I want them to challenge the ideas. A lot of parents today are telling, in my generation, they tell their kids to get this job, but this is your path. But coming back to what I said earlier, kids gotta dip their toes into different things, and then they'll find out what they want to do, and doing what they want to do will make them happy in the end. Yeah.
Naam, you mentioned something that sort of tickled my mind just now. You mentioned the transition between high school and university, and how some kids look at it as just a continuation. The way they perceive college is just part of an extension of high school. And then you mentioned something that was pertinent. You said that networking. So a lot of my Thai friends tell me, know who is more important than know what. And I was not brought up like that. I lived in Singapore, and we had a pretty simple childhood, and nobody told us that. So people told us to focus on our knowledge base, our education, and our growth path. But nobody told us you need to know a minister, you need to know somebody who's in the military, you need to. Where am I? Am I wrong here?
You made a very good point. That's just the way Thailand works. It's not what you know, is who you know.
Right. So my question to you is that bothersome? Is that normal? Is that I mean, what you are saying here is that I cannot progress unless I know somebody. That isn't that a little bit scary?
It is scary, but we have to keep our head up and strive towards a better meritocracy. We can't let this system win, and nor should it. But it is very prevalent in Thai society, which is like client patron system. The government is run that way. Schools are run that way. You have this like top-down kind of nature. And even in university, you're taught it when you have to go through the hazing. It's prevalent in Thai society. So will it change? I think that we will change as we get more westernized and we learn about the principles of meritocracy. But I think it won't change quickly. Take time.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of a whiteboard, and I want you to tell the audience what you advise on a practical basis in terms of somebody looking for a job next week.
Is this a fresh graduate or someone who has
so let's take both. Let's take a fresh graduate and somebody who's just lost their job, let's say in hospitality.
Okay, all right. So for a fresh graduate, go and look online. If you look online on LinkedIn, you search under the jobs tab, you'll see a lot of jobs there, and then you have all these different functions where you can search filters. Yeah, you have filters which you can search the jobs. Go to JobsDB. And if you want to know reviews about companies, go to glassdoor.com. They give you really good reviews by anonymous ex-employees and staff of any company.
Sorry, that's Glassdoors, is that right?
Yeah, glassdoor.com.
Okay, how do you spell that?
GLASSDOOR.com. Okay. Glassdoor, yeah. And for someone, if as a new person to the workforce, you might not know what you want to do, but my advice is go and talk to the companies, go and have the interviews, send your resumes out to whoever you can, because whoever you network with, even though you don't take the job, it's an important network that you make. Don't take it for granted. I did, like growing up, I didn't take networking seriously, and now I realize how important it is to know people. They don't have to be your best friend, but just knowing people and what you can do for each other, it goes a long way in the future.
Tell me, how do you handle rejections spiritually, emotionally? So you get rejected, and you get another letter, or you don't even get a letter back from an employer. How do you handle that?
Yeah, that's tough, really tough. Especially if we take the second example, like hospitality industry, a lot of people got laid off. Automotive industry is down. A lot of people getting laid off. These guys are, I talk to these guys. They're looking for jobs. It's just gotta keep your head up and use your network. If you've made a lot of friends, if you have a lot of network, talk to them. Send your application. Tell them that you're open for a job. Go meet people. Network with people. If you don't do these things, if you just stay home and then hope you're gonna get a job, it's not gonna come that way. You can't like, miracles don't work like that. You gotta take action. If you take action, there'll be some reciprocation and then there'll be some reaction. So yeah.
Excellent advice, Naam. It is such a pleasure for me to have you on my show today. And I can see that you are going to grow to be a very successful person in the future. Before we go, I want to tell you two things about the WTF show. Firstly, you have the right and the privilege to nominate one person for the show next time. And also you get to vote, nominate and vote for Youth of the Year, aged 20 to 30 at the WTF Awards next year. Right. Okay, so we do hope that you will help us on both sides. Again, there is on the 8th of January at 7 p.m. at the Indus Restaurant, WTF live videocast with Amrita and Saral. They are Thailand's premier musicians, and I will guarantee you a good time with a sing-along, a dance-along, and the best concert in town. If you need tickets for that, we have very limited tickets left at www.ticketmelon.com. Now, Naam, before we go, tell us a little bit about what you believe you can add to the community, a little bit macro level. And I believe you belong to the Sikh community in Thailand.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about the pitfalls and the beauty of the Sikh community, because I don't know much about it.
So I'm born and raised in a Sikh family. We pride ourselves in community service, and we are a strong community of, I'm not sure, maybe like 100,000, 200. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure like what pitfalls you're talking about. Like, could you elaborate?
No, I just want to know what your relationship is with your faith.
Okay, like honestly speaking.
I guess so.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm born in a Sikh family. I was raised in a Sikh family, but I've had a very interesting journey till now. Right now, I call myself agnostic. I actually don't know what I believe in, and I think there's no problem with that. But the truth is, I can't even talk about this at home because it would hit a pain point to people close to me at home.
Right.
So this is actually a little hard to talk about, but yeah. So I think that we should be free to explore, and then at the end of the day, what makes us comfortable will come out. It's by itself, and in the same way, we have to have more empathy for each other. Like people at home, your family, shouldn't force you to believe in something. Sure, teach them good values, but don't indoctrinate. We gotta have an open mind, and I think that's an interesting thing that I got from my father. Very liberal, taught me to question and learn for myself, and my brother as well. And so I'm not really religious, actually. Yeah. So if you ask me to talk about Sikhism in Thailand or Sikhs, I don't really have much to say.
Anyway, to all you prospective father-in-laws out there, let me tell you that in front of me, I have WTF's Bachelor of the Year today. I just realized that. Anyway, Naam, thank you so much. I've enjoyed this conversation so much with you, and I've learned so much. And I hope you join us soon. Last word to you, Naam.
Yeah, thank you so much, Uncle Vimol, for having me. I really want to be back on the show one day. And my message to everyone is, smile more, give some more hugs, and have a little empathy and caring for everyone around you. That'll go a long way. Peace.
Okay, see you guys on the 8th of January. Again, tickets at www.ticketmelon.com. Goodbye.
That's it from the WTF Show. Vimol and the team from WTF Show would like to thank all our sponsors. Tune in next week for another great gig with people making a difference to your future. For advertising spots, go to the WTF Show IG page and get more info, or contact Vimol at 6681-616-5987.